everybody. Thanks for joining. Subconsciously Speaking, what's in your mind? My name is Ilah Brock and I'm your host. I'm a certified hypnotherapist here at Central Valley Hypnotherapy and Wellness Center in Visalia, California. You can reach me at 559-749-4803 or my website, centralvalleyhypnotherapy.com. Today's topic is one that's a serious topic. It's substance abuse. And I'm not going to talk about nicotine because although that is a substance, I'll leave that for its own show. But this is alcohol and drugs like meth, cocaine, even pills, Schedule II narcotics, stuff like that. Things, and I'm going to refer to probably a lot more on alcoholism, but all of it will relate together. And it's diving deep into that subconscious mind, the how hypnosis can or may not be able to help or change that programming that you have. And I just, messed up all my notes. It's just kind of a chat kind of thing, but I have notes and one of those, what do they call those things? A reader. Teleprompter. Yeah, thank you. Producers are back here just watching, getting it firsthand. So I want to say something that you might not expect me to say. I'm a hypnotherapist. I'm certified, not certifiable. But hypnosis in and of itself cannot fix an addiction like that. It won't stop you from drinking. It won't stop you from using. And it won't magically erase years of dependency. And if you come to a session under the influence of alcohol or drugs, hypnosis, it won't work. Your mind's already you've altered that part of your mind, your brain, and it's closed down to the idea you'll probably just fall asleep is what you'd end up doing. It's a brain science kind of thing, and I want to unpack this. So hypnosis requires a mental presence. You have to be present and cognitive. It's a state of focused awareness. It's conscious intentionally, and it bypasses that critical mind between subconscious and the conscious mind. There's a filter between it called the critical mind. Go to episode 2 and you can learn more about that. But so we can speak directly into the subconscious mind and provide suggestions, and it requires cooperation between your will and your openness. It demands clarity, a presence, a brain that's not been hijacked by chemicals and substances. That's important. So when someone is intoxicated or high, the brain is no longer operating in its typical patterns. Alcohol, opioids, stimulants, cannabis, all of them alter your neurochemistry. There is no amount of alcohol ever that is healthy. I don't care what you bring to me, I'm going to show you the science that will refute it. There is no amount of, and this is coming from neurologists across the nation, internationally. So just be aware of that. It starts to kill brain cells. I don't mind an occasional cocktail, adult beverage myself. I just usually limit myself to one at a time, not one every hour, whatever. The communication between the prefrontal cortex, which is right up here in the brain, and your reasoning and decision-making center, and the limbic system, your emotional regulation center, it gets fuzzy. So hypnosis, by nature, it's a learning state. But if the brain is under the influence, that learning is distorted, and the brain's ability to receive and integrate those suggestions is not going to happen. It's compromised. The connection between language and emotion and behavior becomes scrambled. Some of you may have, been lit before, inebriated before. I tried to write once when I had a little too many years ago, and I read it the next day and it was just a bunch of lines. But in my head, and I was writing pretty neat, won't do that again. It's trying to update, like trying to update your phone while you're underwater. Yeah, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So I'm going to be very clear. If you're actively using, hypnosis is not your first step. Sobriety is. Hitting your bottom. Now, some people have to hit bottom before they decide that that's enough. And some people will think that they've hit bottom, their bottom. They've they've lost their jobs, they have lost family members or their home, whatever. You've seen them, you know them, or you've heard of them. Alcohol in itself destroys. Opioids and drugs destroy families. So you got to be careful. Now, let's talk about painkillers that you get from like the doctor, the prescription. They're for your pain, okay? And some people become addicted to those. But that addiction was intentional, because now you're not taking those for the pain, you're taking those for the high. There's so many people out there that can take like an oxycodone and never become addicted because they're taking it for a pain. Here's my pain, I'm going to take the oxycodone and just cover my pain. I'm not going to take any more than what's needed to cover my pain. So when you start taking more, your behavior changes. You're not going to become addicted, because eventually you're not going to want to take it because your pain starts to lessen as the problem that's creating the pain starts to go away. I know this firsthand. So don't panic when the doctor says, yes, take your pain meds every 4 or 6 hours or whatever. Do what they say. They know what they're doing. They don't want you addicted. You're just doing it to stay on top of the pain. If you wait, well, I can handle it, and then you're out of whack. So don't think about you're going to become addicted just because you're on pain meds if you're taking them for the purpose of pain. Okay, so just understand that concept. And if you have questions about that, please talk to your doctor. You know, this woman said on YouTube that I don't have to become addicted to pain meds. How do I not do that? They'll explain it to you just like it was explained to me. So I'm just letting you know. So I'm talking about the people that are going above and beyond, that are trying to find ways to get a hold of their drug of choice. And sadly, let me talk about the pandemic for a minute. Just in the county of Tulare, alcohol sales went up 40% in the month of April. I believe they said it was the month of April in 2020. So that was huge. People went into panic, okay? So it's, and they went into isolation. So what do we do? And they also started to make alcohol deliverable. Now you can just have it delivered to your house. So there are things that are people finding out. The sellers don't care that you're addicted to it. Who's selling? They're making money on your aches and pains. They're making money on your, on your addiction. And that's not right, personally thinking. Now, I'm not saying go back to prohibition days, but I am saying that there's a way to help curb this. Okay, so you can lose life. Not life. Yeah, you can lose life, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, the life that you're living now. You can. Some people just have to hit their bottom in order to climb back up. Because where else do you go but up if you're on the bottom? And some people got to hit bottom time and time again until they finally get to where they want to release whatever the problem is that they're not willing to let go of. And usually someone's going to have a problem. Like if you really do have a problem, there's a reason maybe why you even started drinking in the first place. And I'm going to take a little break here and show you my cup. I like coffee and maybe 3 people. 3 people, my 3 children. Now I have a grandson and another one on the way, so I may have to cross that out and put 5. Okay, so maybe you may wake up and you realize you've burned every bridge and the only thing left, like I said, is up. And that's the moment that when that inner voice finally says, I can't do this. I can't do this anymore and I need help. But here's the thing. Sometimes people think they've hit bottom and then they get sober. Just like I said, relapse after relapse after relapse. Oh, I can just handle, I've been sober for 6 months. I can just handle 1 drink. No. You have to understand. Never again. Today, you stay sober today. Now, the hardest thing is getting sober. It's easy to stay sober once you're sober because you're sober. You just don't do the thing that got you there in the first place. That's the easy part. It's getting there, and that's why you need a team. You need a team that's going to help you. And I can be part of that team. And a lot of rehabs are now using hypnotherapists in their programs because they're finding it very effective. and I'm out of Los Angeles. I'm here in Central California, so LA is about 4 hours away, and I was working down there before I moved up here 5 years ago, and a lot of them, one person that I'm seeing now who's in sobriety for, I don't know, probably 8 or 9 months, he sees me a few times a month because he was seeing a hypnotherapist when he was in rehab. So it does, there's some effect to it. He's finding that it's working his team. But your first line of defense is program, a sponsor, calling me, having a supportive team around you to get you where you need to go, and somebody you call instead of picking up the addicted substance. But you can't have one drink. You just got to understand it is a forever thing, but you're just working on today. And sometimes it might be 5 minutes at a time. I remember years ago, I was working for a company that required none of their employees weren't allowed to drink, and I didn't have a problem with that. I was raising my kids, and I always have to have my wits about me, so giving up alcohol was not a big deal. I take it or leave it, and I still can take it or leave it. But I really, really, really liked a nice cold beer in the summer. So I was asking one of my mentors, what do I do for that? And her recommendation was just grab a nice cold Coke, because Coke, the old Coke was nice and crispy. So now I don't drink Coke hardly ever, except today. I had a Coke at lunch. But Club Soda does that. I like that effervescence, that really harsh effervescence. I don't know, there's something about it that I like it. So let's get back to asking yourself some questions here. And maybe you're wondering if you even have a problem. Maybe you're what they call a functioning alcoholic. And I'm going to say this, and I love my dad, but he was a functioning alcoholic. My biological father, just an alcoholic. It was something that just was in my family. And they were all most functioning. But you never saw my dad without a beer. He'd leave work, he had one between his legs. I don't know how many DUIs he ended up having, but it wouldn't stop him. It never scared him. It's like, that's what he would do. So if you're not, here's the thing. The definition AA has for alcoholism, if you cannot control your alcohol consumption, your daily alcohol consumption, I have no problem pouring a glass, like say I poured myself, this is water, but let's say it's wine, and I drank 3 or 4 sips and dumping it in the sink, and I don't lose an ounce of sleep about it, and I don't care if it was a $30 or $50 bottle of wine. It doesn't bother me. But there are some people that it's going to bother them. If that, not the money, it's the substance. They're going to be bothered. They can't let that go. They have to drink it all and then 10 more behind it. So are you somebody who has lost the ability to control your alcohol intake? Okay, so back to my notes here. Can you go out? Can you go without drinking? Can you go for long periods of time and not let it bother you? You're not thinking about it. And there's some days, I know it's a Friday night and you've worked all hard on you just going out with friends and, oh yeah, it'd be great to have, margarita or whatever. I'm not talking about the one drink or whatever. But I'm talking about it's a daily thing, or it's I drink until I can't remember thing, and there's a problem. There's a problem. So is it something you think about daily? Do you think about having that drink daily? Have people commented on your drinking habit? Does it irritate you? Well, maybe they're seeing something that you're in avoidance of. Have you made promises to yourself, I'm going to cut back, and then you broke them? I've had people call me and say, I just want to drink less. Hypnosis can't do that. It's an all or nothing proposition when it comes to alcohol or any substance. Do you ever hide how much you're using, really? Yeah, most people. Okay, I'm going to put it out there, people. Alcoholics are liars and deceptive and manipulative. They will do everything they can, and they're going to try and believe that, avoid, project onto you. It's because they're trying to hide it and they can't anymore. Now they're going to try to find other ways and make it your fault. So if you stopped drinking or using today, would that feel freeing or terrifying? Now the terrifying part, I can help you with that. but you gotta be in sobriety for me to do that. How long sobriety? Well, that will depend on you. If you got a sponsor, are you going through a program? It doesn't have to be AA. It's been around for so long. It's obviously got some good aspect to it. There's also Al-Anon, and there's church-related alcohol programs. And if you need one, just call me. We'll go look them up, and I'll even go to a meeting with you if you want, if you become a client or whatever. Being aware of your habits, your consumption habits of your drugs or alcohol, that starts to create some inner wisdom with yourself. Give yourself that attention. So it does take a village. Addiction is cruel. It's cunning. It's the enemy. It isolates, it manipulates, and it lies. And I can't tell me people, I want to stop my addiction, and yes, I've got a sponsor, I'm done, blah, blah. I'll make an appointment. They want to make an appointment for Tuesday at 10 a.m. Great. And then Tuesday at 10 a.m. they don't come in. They say, oh, sorry, I have to change it. I have to go to work. I'll change it to tomorrow at 6 p.m. And then that becomes Thursday at 2 p.m. And then Friday I never hear from them again. So yeah, I won't even take somebody in they got to pay up. They got to pay up, because that just takes up valuable time for others. You think you might be able to do this alone? I don't think so. It's very, very difficult without a team, without people on your team to help you. Even if you think you can, please. Recovery takes a village. It takes a team of people. It's a support, it's accountability, it's structure, and you need a program, a sponsor, like I said. You need detox, you need a rehab, therapy, medical supervision. You need people who won't coddle you, but will love you to sobriety and be honest with you. You need people who aren't going to go out and buy it for you, too. If you're, like, say you're convalescent, and maybe you are getting through physical therapy or something. Well, great. No, don't bring anybody in with the vodka and the oranges. That's not going to work. I say all this, I'm not trying to discourage you. I just want to invite you to a truth. The truth is, you are not alone. You were never meant to fight this demon alone, and really, this is a demon. Where can hypnotherapy fit in? When you're sober, and I mean consistently sober, and I'll even take people who haven't, like, if they haven't used a drug in like a week, 4 days or whatever, great. But they know they're paying me money to come in here telling me they're sober, signing a document saying they're sober. And if they're not, it's really on them, because it's not going to work. And I don't want you to waste your time and money unless you're ready to really move forward. When hypnotherapy, it can be entered into, at that point, what's it for? To help continue the behavior changes, to help reduce the anxiety, and to start getting to the core issues of why you were drinking or using in the first place. Typically, you learned it, or you stopped and a crisis happened. I mean, a lot of people come in here to quit smoking again because something happened in their life and they felt like the cigarette or the alcohol or the drug was going to help fix the problem. It doesn't. Just now you've got a problem that you had, and now you have another problem you've just added to it, because it's all going to come back and probably 10 times worse than when it was before it left. Hypnotherapy can become your powerful adjunct tool in your recovery. It's not a replacement. It's not a miracle, but I am a supporter for you, and I help you reinforce it. I'm a straight shooter when it comes to it, though. If I find you come in and you're inebriated, I'm going to ask you to leave. So pay for the session, because you did take all my time, right? But I'm going to help you with that subconscious reprogramming. Here's how I can help. I can help you with some of those cravings just by changing some of the suggestions. Whatever fear you might have that might be helping you. It's like, if you have a fear, I'm going to drink again. Well, let's go over what that fear means. Where does it stem from? We're going to try and go and find some root cause that you might have and see if we can collapse it in a session. The hypnosis can help calm your nerves and your whole nervous system. Anxiety does hit when you're going sober for a while. It could be 3 weeks, could be a month. And that detox time, your body is going through some changes. It's so used to being this way, it goes through some changes. One of the things, my husband and I were in Stanford a few weeks ago for him, and one of the nurses was telling me about babies who are born addicted to alcohol or crack or coke. They have to help that baby wean off of those drugs by giving them the drug that got them in there in the first place. So here you are, brand new baby, because the mom chose to use while she was pregnant. It's like, and now the baby is suffering the effects of withdrawal, that now the doctors have to give that child, that little tiny 7-pound baby, the drug in order to help wean them off to get them back, to get that baby sober. It's just sad. You know, that poor little baby's doesn't have a very good beginning in life, and hopefully it can once it knows, and hopefully never touches drugs again. Hypnosis can help remind your subconscious mind of your worth. I'm here to help you. You have worth, you have value, otherwise you wouldn't be here. You have it. That's why you're put on this God's green earth for it. I want to help strengthen your identity beyond the addiction. Help you reinforce healthy decisions and a healthy lifestyle. Work on your diet. Oh, it's so huge. Cut out the bad carbohydrates, if you will. I am a bad anti-carbohydrate. I want to help you consciously making the right decisions and making things easy for you. And subconsciously, it helps it get on board. But I can only help you if you're ready and if you're sober. So only if you've already made the decision to get clean and to get sober. The hard part isn't what you think. And people think that staying sober, it's like I said earlier, the hard part is just the getting sober. And then staying sober, that becomes rote after a while. I don't drink. You go out, and some people like are embarrassed. Well, I go out with these people and they all want to drink. Let them be the designated driver. Let them make them buy you dinner. I want a porterhouse, for being the designated driver. Groovy. You scored. You didn't drink and you got a nice dinner in the process. And let them be you can be the videotaper and show them the next day what kind of stupid they did. Just the easy part, stay sober. You just don't do it. Of all the diseases there are in the world, there's all kinds of them. So if you have cancer, you have to have chemo. If you have other autoimmune diseases, you need certain medications. My mother had multiple sclerosis and she needed this beta-seron or high doses of steroids in order to help control some of her symptoms. There's things that are needed, but of all the diseases out there, alcoholism and drug abuse, there's the easiest of them all to fix, if for lack of a better word, and that's just stop. You don't need a drug to help you stop using the drug you're using. You just stop. Now, there's the withdrawals and all that you can go through, but you know what? You go through them. Hypnosis isn't going to fix the pain you're going to go through. Doctors can help with some of that. Hypnosis can help some of the anxiety, but it's not going to help fix. You're going to have to go through some of that. It's just part of the process of doing it. So, one day at a time. That's the mantra of AA. One day at a time. You don't need to stay sober for 10 years right now. You don't think about that. Just think about today. I am sober today. And tomorrow, you're going to do it again and be happy about it. Don't be in misery. So what if something happens? So something happens and you normally would take a drink. You don't take a drink. You call your sponsor. Look, this happened. Just tell yourself, I'm not going to drink right now. I'm going to go call my sponsor. You may have heard this before, but your worst day sober is still better than the best day using ever, because you're doing something healthy for yourself. There's peace that comes from clarity, from knowing that you didn't run, from remembering everything that happened and still choosing life. My role in your journey, if you're in a treatment program, whether it's NA, AA, or Celebrate Recovery, whatever, as an outpatient, an inpatient, and you've done some time of sobriety you've got that under your belt, I can help you stay on the path where you want to be. Turning that noise off. I meet with clients weekly for about an hour, hour and a half in our session. First sessions are typically 2 hours. And we talk, we clarify. I ask you a lot of questions about your drinking, about what's going on in your life, about your diet, your sleeping habits. I go into a lot of detail about your physical and mental health, what's needed and what kind of support system you have. And I take that all in and I create a customized hypnotic for you to keep your positive intentions going. And it just, those suggestions that are created are delivered to your subconscious mind, and it does work. It's not magic, it's a mindset muscle, if you will. A reinforcement as encouragement, and it starts to heal. Remember, when you go into sobriety, you're healing. When you stop smoking, you heal. When you stop using illicit drugs, your body starts healing. And it needs time to heal. Go sit on the beach, drink your lemonade. Oh my gosh, isn't that delicious? Take lemonade and put it in your blender with a bunch of ice. Oh, you got yourself frozen lemonade. It's just so refreshing. Add a little mango juice in it. Okay, there's a lot of things you can do instead, right? Final thoughts. Addiction doesn't mean you're broken. It means you need support. And if you're hearing this right now, if something is in your heart stirring, please know I believe in you. I'm here to help. I'll talk to you on the phone. Phone calls are free. It's not easy, but anything worth it isn't going to be easy. And this is worth it. Your health, your life, your family, your future is worth it. I've seen people build new lives. I went to an AA meeting as part of my hypnotherapy college program, and it was in Malibu, California, and there was about 200 people in the room. So typically you don't speak or anything. I'm just there as an observer sitting in the back, and I'm watching the speakers. There was a kid that walked up there. He was 22 years old, sober for about 18 months. He had been drinking, 22, he had been drinking since he was 12. It's like, they're just babies. Or the kids that were standing up talking about how long they've been sober. So they had the ones in the room that were the teenagers that were, how long have they been sober? 14 years old, been sober, 6 months, been drinking since I was like 11, 12 years old. I mean, I probably heard like 30 people say that. I was just amazed at how many young people, where are they getting the alcohol? So I guess if you really want to get it, you can. Just don't get it. Just don't get it. And, I don't know, a lot can be said about what's going on in the home. I know I'm going to get a lot of backlash for that one. Not the child's fault, okay? Child just needs some help. I've seen families heal. I've seen people, brave people, just go through the process. I worked briefly at a sober living home. Sober living home. No, there's no alcohol in my coffee. Sober living home in Calabasas some years ago. And I worked with, these were kids. These were 19-year-olds that are just like 12 hours before, they just came in because they wanted to get off meth. They most came from privileged homes, and they are trying to get sober and get their life back. And all I did was go in and do a little biofeedback, just help their anxiety while they're detoxing. And that was the point of the sober living home, is so they can detox. It was a beautiful home too. I remember that. The kitchen's as big as the office building I'm in right now. It's so big. It was beautiful. So when you're ready, when you've got your team, your program, your village, I'll be here. I'm ready to be a part of it, supporting you and your subconscious mind with all the tools that I know, reinforcing your recovery, helping you rewire your thoughts and beliefs, your self-image. You can contact me. Just reach out. I'll walk with you through it one day at a time. Even after we start our program together, and you need, your sponsor, whatever, get us all on a 3-way call. We'll all encourage you. You'll hear the same thing from everybody, even though we've never talked, because it's all the same. You're going to need a support team, and then it's like, and blessedly, you go to these meetings, you're not the only one. You've got other people in your court too. You are stronger than your addiction. You are stronger than your addiction. Remember that. If you found it helpful today, great. Just follow me on the YouTube channel at Vasalia Talks, and just grow with it. I'm going to throw a couple little questions in there. I have these questions. Where'd they go? Hang on just a second, and I will find them for you, because I can't find my mouse. There it is. It's so small. Okay. Let me get my questions up. So here's some questions. What does hitting bottom look like for you? Have you already hit bottom, or are you still digging? What might it take for you to say enough? These are just rhetorical questions for you to consider. Can I go without a drink or using drugs for a week without it bothering me? If not, why? What feelings or thoughts come up when I imagine doing that? And the only time I think about drinking is when I'm going to be doing a lecture or maybe working with somebody that's in alcoholism. Then I'll think, when's the last time I had a drink? I just go there. And that's probably part of the disease in my family, whatever. I want to be careful because I don't want to lose the responsibility. And I don't drive when I've been drinking. That's a big one. If substance use something you look forward to? Is it looking forward to it more than you want to admit? What would happen emotionally if you took that comfort away? Have you ever told yourself, I can handle just one, and then proved yourself wrong? I mean, how many times has that happened? And isn't there a pattern? Do I hide how much I really use, or do I really drink? And who am I hiding it from? And why am I hiding it? What part of you feels the need to hide that? Have you convinced yourself, I'm high functioning, I can handle it? At what cost to your health, to your peace, even to your relationships will it be? Because you're high functioning and you can handle it. If you stop today, would that be a feeling of terror, fear, or would it be a feeling of relief? What does that say about you where you are in your own journey? What kind of support system do you have, really? Do you have a village? Do you have a tribe? Do you have a group of support people, family, friends that are trying? Are you just trying to do it lone wolf style? What would asking for help look like? I promise there are people in your world that would just love it if you called and said, I need help. Don't ever be embarrassed about that. They are waiting for you to call. What role could hypnotherapy play for you? After you've chosen sobriety, what role could hypnotherapy, and it doesn't have to be me. If you need another, would you rather have a male hypnotherapist? I can put you in touch with some. Absolutely. They're not here in the Central Valley, but they're in LA and they do Zoom. And they'll be happy to help you. How could it help you stay grounded, reinforce your goals, and shift your beliefs? Suggestions. Positive suggestions into the subconscious mind, creating new message units. Those message units bring the subconscious mind emotional pleasure. And when you can do that, the subconscious mind starts to take over and sobriety becomes your way of life. What's one small action you can take today to move yourself forward toward a healthier, clear version of your future self? It's just one, and that's where it starts. That's where it starts. Thank you for joining. I appreciate you joining this. It's a kind of a deep topic, and if you want more information, just let me know. I teach a Wednesday night class here at my office. It's free, it's self-improvement, and one of the weeks ahead I will be doing a whole 2-hour lecture on substance abuse. And if you're in the area, I'd love to have you join us. Just give me a call, 559-749-4803, 559-749-4803. I'm Ilah Brock, and this is Subconsciously Speaking. What's in your mind? Now you've learned something, go help somebody. Thank you all for being here. Until next week, Ilah out.